We have the finale for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so let's talk about it. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Arjun and I love talking about movies and TV. So I've been really enjoying Falcon Winter Soldier, so I was really excited for the finale. Be sure to tell me down below in the comments what you thought of this episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. If you want more of my content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. With that said, let's get straight into my general thoughts of this episode. And because of how the show has kind of progressed through, my expectations were kind of lowered because before the show started, I was really excited for the series. After the first couple of episodes, I was really excited for the finale just to see how everything pays off. But then when you kind of watch the series as a whole, I've kind of had some issues. For example, I don't think the Flag Smashers were as compelling villains, especially because they weren't intimidating enough. And I feel like that issue was kind of resolved in this episode where they actually decided to do some evil things. And I appreciated that because the rest of the episodes didn't do that. And this episode kind of improved on that aspect. And I feel like the Flag Smashers could have been developed a lot more throughout the series because I don't think they were developed enough to be really good villains. When you take into account the entire show, I don't think the finale was set up as well by episode 5 because episode 5 was mostly a character-based episode. It didn't do a great job of leading into the finale, so that way some things just kind of felt absolutely rushed when you watch this episode, and that's an issue I had with it. But when you just take into account just this episode, I feel like it was a pretty satisfying conclusion to the entire series. Now, obviously a lot of people are comparing this to WandaVision because that's the only other Marvel Disney Plus show we have right now. And for me, I'd say as a full show, I prefer WandaVision. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier has specific episodes that I like more than WandaVision episodes. For example, episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's probably my favorite episode of all the Marvel Disney Plus shows. I don't know, I have to rewatch Falcon and Winter Soldier to make sure which one is my favorite episode. But yeah, I think as a whole, because WandaVision was more intriguing and each episode kind of led into the next one, as a full series, it flowed really well. This show, on the other hand, like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of Flag Smashers. At times, the stakes were really low. There were no consequences for breaking Zemo out of prison. And there were a lot of other stuff that bugged me about this show. So I feel like as a full series, I prefer WandaVision. And specific episodes, I like Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes compared to WandaVision. So in and of itself, I did really enjoy this finale because it closed out all the plot lines really well. And Flag Smashers, again, like I said, in this whole series, I don't think they were as good. But when you take into the account just the finale itself, I think they were good. They weren't amazing, they were good. And I like the way they kind of won over Sam, and Sam kind of gave that speech at the end, and that kind of led into the Killmonger effect. That's what I call it. You have our villain, Killmonger, in Black Panther. He convinces our hero, T'Challa, to change and help the world, tell Wakanda to help the world. And this one kind of did the same thing. I don't think it was as effective as Killmonger, but I still thought it was quite good. Let's go into my spoiler review. So this episode kicks off right after the last episode. People are held hostage in a building and Bucky and Sam have to go and save them. I don't think episode 5 set this up really well because, like I said, episode 5 was a character-based episode. I liked that it was a character-based episode. But when when that kind of leads into this episode, I don't think it does a great job because Flag Smashers holding the building hostage, that wasn't set up in the last episode really well. We knew they were trying to stop the GRC vote, but we don't know exactly how they're doing it and what they're trying to do. So it just kind of pops up out of nowhere and you really don't understand what's going on. But still, if you can get over that, I think you'll enjoy that plotline really well in this episode. So basically, we have the Flag Smashers. They're threatening the people inside, and then Sam shows up in his full-on Falcon and Captain America mixed suit. Now, and he has a great little entrance. Now, I thought this scene paid off really well. About 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was in April when Avengers Endgame came out, and Captain America, Steve Rogers, passed on the shield to Sam Wilson, and we waited 2 years for him to get to this point where he actually takes up the mantle of Captain America. And I feel like the 2 year payoff was really, really good. And when he shows up and he just says, "I'm Captain America," I thought that was a nice little sequence. I've always worried that they were gonna make him more like Steve Rogers, give him super soldier serum and stuff. I'm glad they didn't do that because Steve Rogers is one Captain America and Sam Wilson is a completely different character, so I'm glad that they didn't do the same thing with him. Now, his costume in general, I don't love his costume. I feel like if it had more blue, I probably would have liked it more. I didn't love it. I thought it was good enough. I didn't love it as much as I probably wanted to. And then Batroc shows up, and there's a fight between Batroc and Sam Wilson, or our new Captain America. And I think this fight was pretty good, especially because of the atmosphere. Like, the lighting was fully red, so it kind of had that sense of danger, and that made it more engaging, and it kind of put you in more of a tension and more tense mood, and I appreciated that because of the lighting and the atmosphere, how that kind of impacted the fight. And the fight itself, it visually looks really good. The choreography is great. And I like that they didn't make Sam Wilson overpowered just because he has a suit from Wakanda. While this is happening, we have Bucky, and there's this one scene where Carly calls Bucky and they talk on the phone about how Carly's fighting for a cause that's bigger than herself. And she asks Bucky if he could ever say that about himself. Now, Bucky, he's a guy that fought in World War II, and he's a guy that went up against Thanos to save half the universe. So, of course, he is a guy that has fought for multiple causes that are above himself. So, like, I like the irony in that scene. And this kind of leads to Carly and the Flag Smashers taking a bunch of people hostage in trucks, and Bucky goes to chase them. And Sam, there's other hostages in a helicopter, so Sam goes to save them. And here is where I feel like Carly became more of a villain. And I've been complaining about the fact that there haven't been enough stakes in the whole series, and I feel like this episode is where the stakes do show up. What do I mean by that? Carly actually starts killing people. There's this one scene where Bucky is fighting the Flag Smashers, and Carly sets a truck on fire with people in it, so Bucky goes to save them. So we see that Carly is willing to kill innocent people for her cause, and I feel like if they kind of did more of that in the previous episodes, the stakes would be a lot higher, because we have Bucky breaking Zemo out of prison, okay? And why does he break Zemo out of prison? Was it because they're stealing vaccines and medicines? Because when they broke him out of prison, that was the worst thing they've done. And instead of just waiting for a lead or asking the government to ask Zemo for help, they broke him out of prison, which I feel like was rushed. Why did they have to rush so fast to break Zemo out of prison when the worst thing that Flag Smashers have done at that point was just steal medicines and vaccines? So like I said, Carly sets a truck on fire and Bucky goes to save them. And one of the people that he saves says, "Thank you. Thank you for saving us." And that is one scene that I really liked. Obviously, it's just a thank you, but Bucky is someone that's been through a lot, and a lot of people haven't thanked him before. He is a hero. He's a soldier, but he's also a hero. He saves people. And there's this one scene where this guy thanks him, and when you think about it, it means more to Bucky than you would intentionally think, because Bucky has always been a guy that doesn't really think of himself as a hero. He just thinks of himself as a broken guy. And I feel like that one scene kind of softened his character a little bit. And after that, Walker shows up and Carly's like, I'm sorry, I didn't want to kill your friend. I don't want to kill people that don't matter. And that kind of makes Walker angry because obviously Battlestar is Walker's friend and they've been best friends for a long time. And that kind of devastated him. And he's like, do you think Lamar's life doesn't matter? And the Flag Smashers and Walker start fighting. And this is where I really cheered for Walker. I wanted him to beat up the Flag Smashers because they are bad guys now. They're officially bad guys. They're bombing stuff, putting trucks on fire with people in it. And Carly just said that Lamar's life doesn't matter. So I really wanted John to just beat up the Flag Smashers. And there's a fight. John's losing. Obviously, he has his fake Captain America shield, and it breaks. It obviously doesn't hold up against Flag Smashers because it's not made of vibranium. And this kind of leads to a scenario where Carly takes one of the trucks with people in it. She drives it through to an edge of a bridge type place, and it's hanging right there. It's about to fall down, and John Walker has a choice. He could either go fight Carly and beat her up and avenge his best friend, or he could go and save the people in the truck, and he chooses to save the people in the truck. And I have to say, I loved that scene. As someone that has been rooting for Walker ever since episode 2, obviously he wasn't in episode 1 all that much, so I've been rooting for the guy since episode 2, and just after episode 4, what happened, how he killed people, and he almost killed Sam and Bucky in the fight at the beginning of episode 5. When we come here and he actually saves these people, he tries to save these people. I like that they kind of took that route and made him more of a hero and kind of redeemed him a little bit. He's still probably going to be an anti-hero in the MCU, but just that one scene where he saves people, I personally really appreciated that as someone that's been really, really rooting for his character. Then Bucky, John, and Sam team up against the Flag Smashers, and this scene's a lot of fun. So the Flag Smashers split up, and Falcon, Captain America, our new Captain America, goes after Carly, and he tries to stop her, but then Sharon Carter shows up. And Sharon Carter, she is talking to Carly, and they're having this interesting conversation, and Carly says that Sharon is the power broker. And I saw this coming. Since episode 3 where Sharon first showed up, I was predicting that she is the power broker because of everything that she has. It was obvious to me. When it came, I wasn't surprised. I didn't jump out of my seat and go, what? But no, it was pretty obvious. I feel like they should have done something to make it less obvious. But anyway, let's move on. After that, Batroc is like, so you're the power broker. And he blackmails Sharon, and Sharon shoots him, so he dies. And then Falcon shows up because he heard the gunshot, and he starts fighting against Carly because she's about to kill Sharon, but Sam doesn't know that Sharon is the power broker. So there's so much going on in this one scene, I can't describe it in words, but if you saw the episode, you probably already know it, but you probably already did because this is a spoiler review. So then, Falcon, oh my god, why do I keep saying Falcon? Captain America and Carly start fighting, and Sam is holding back. He doesn't want to fight Carly. He's trying to get her onto the good side, so he's holding back. And there's this one scene where Carly has a gun held up on him, so she's almost gonna shoot Sam, and then Sharon shoots her and kills her. After that, Sam goes up to Carly and he just looks at her, and she says, I'm sorry. So, because clearly throughout the whole series, Sam has kind of tried to see the good in Carly, and she disappointed him in a lot of ways. So that's why she says sorry. While that's happening, John and Bucky, they're kind of working together, and they trap a bunch of other flag smashers, and the police cops capture them and take them away. And while the cops are taking them away, we have Zemo's butler, Zemo's Alfred, I guess. He blows up the vehicle that the flag smashers were being transported in, so there's no more flag smashers. So Zemo, clearly all he was trying to do all along was destroy super soldiers, and the flag smashers were super soldiers, so he told his butler to blow up the vehicle, and he blows it up, so we don't have any more flag smashers. All of them are dead. And Sam carries down Carly's body, and he puts her in a hospital van. And then he talks to the GRC people about the woe about refugees and about how they're doing stuff. So he gives a big speech, and it's being broadcasted on television, so we have a bunch of people watching. We have Sam's sister watching it, we have Torres watching it, and the main one is Isaiah. I really liked his reaction while watching it, and this was a pretty powerful speech. This could have easily come off as forced. Some people may argue it does come off as forced, but to me, I feel like it was powerful. I really liked it. There were better ways to do it than just have Sam monologuing, but I still feel like they did a great job of sending the message and showing it how it's kind of changing the MCU world in a lot of ways. And I really liked how it showed other people like watching the news broadcast and them reacting to it. And when you think about it, Carly kind of won. She did the Killmonger thing. She inspired Sam to kind of create change, which led him to him making this speech. So even though she died, even though she lost, she convinced our hero to believe in her cause. So in a way, she did win. I don't think it was as effective as Killmonger, but I still thought it was really good. And then we have kind of like an epilogue, and we see every character's plotline come to a close. So first we have John Walker. We see him with Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, I think that's her name. So she gives him a new costume, and this is the full-on US agent costume from the comics, and he becomes US agent. He's not Captain America, he becomes US agent. I'm so glad that they didn't kill him off. At first, going into this episode, I thought they were going to kill him off somehow. I'm glad that they didn't, because I think he's a very interesting character, and he's someone that you could have for the rest of the MCU, and he could kind of be an anti-hero. I really hope we get to see more of him soon, because I loved John Walker's character. Like, I really, really liked his character. The next one, we see Bucky go to Yori's house, the old man from the first episode, and he tells the old man the truth. He tells him that Bucky's the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier is the one that killed the old man's son. And then he says, and that was me. This scene got me teared up. Like, I was in full-on tears here. It was so sad just to see the old man's reaction. He's like, why did you do it? And Bucky goes, I didn't have a choice. We don't see the full conversation. We don't see how everything went. We don't see how the full reaction of the old man. I would have liked it if they extended it, but I feel like this way it has more impact, because you could interpret your own way of how things went in that conversation. Now I feel like this was set up really well in the first episode, the old man plotline, and it paid off really well here. I feel like if they mentioned it a couple of times in the middle, it may have paid off even more. It could have hit hard even more when this happened. But right now, what they did was fantastic, and I loved this plotline, and I'm so glad that Bucky finally got his closure and gave this old man what he needed. And then finally we have Sam, who goes up to Isaiah, and they kind of talk about him being Captain America. They have a nice conversation. Sam takes Isaiah to the Captain America museum place, And he takes him to this one place, and it has Isaiah's statue. So it has Isaiah's statue, it has like a whole memorial area just for Isaiah, and that made me happy. That also brought a lot of tears to my eye, because Isaiah is a character that's been through a lot. He's someone that has done a lot for the country, but he was never represented for it. And when the scene happens, it means a lot to him, and it pays off really well for us because we have been following along with Sam's journey. And when this scene happens, I just really loved it. Then the episode ends and a title card comes up and it says Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That brought a smile on my face. Like, I really liked it, because probably season 2 is going to be Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Marvel did announce there's going to be a Captain America 4 movie with Sam Wilson as Captain America. But still, I'm guessing there's also going to be another season of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's going to be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But we do have a post-credit scene, and here we see Sharon getting pardoned for everything that she did in Captain America Civil War. And she walks outside, she calls someone and says, we're going to have access to everything in the government, we're going to have access to weapons, information. So clearly she's still the power broker. She's not going to stop being the power broker, and it kind of sets her up for future MCU projects. Now let's get into my closing thoughts of this episode. I loved it. I really, really loved it. I don't know if it's my favorite episode of the bunch, but I personally really, really enjoyed it. I thought it had great action sequences. It paid off a lot of things really well. A few things could have been better, but as a whole, I thought it was a really, really good episode. And now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on the full series, and I really like the whole show. I don't think it's as good as WandaVision, like I mentioned, but I still think it was really good. It did a great job of setting up everything and paying off a lot of stuff. A few things in the middle bugged me, like I mentioned, but as a whole, it is a really good show, and I feel like it did a great job of telling the story with real-world themes. And when you get to the end of it, it's very satisfying, and the emotional payoff is really good. So time for my final score, and I'm going to give Falcon Winter Soldier a B+, and from an entertainment standpoint, I'm going to go 8.8 out of 10. I couldn't go quite 9, so I went 8.8. Be sure to tell me down below in the comments what you thought of this episode of Falcon Winter Soldier, and what did you think of the whole show in general. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.